Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I'm Sarah and I'll be your intuitive guide and your reader today. For today's reading, I'm going to do a little throwback. We are going to do a twin flame reading. Very interesting, my experiences over the past few days or past week, and some travels and a beautiful musical concert that I attended have sort of reinvigorated my faith and hope in the twin flame journey. God, there's so much more I could say that I think I may share over on Patreon soon, because I don't really feel like sharing it with a larger audience. But for those of you who are on the twin flame journey, who have also identified that you have a strong soulmate, this journey can be extremely challenging. And I mean, it's challenging either way, but when there's a soulmate that comes into the mix, the soulmates have been very strong lately. Their energy has been fiercely strong, and that's why I've done some readings on soulmates. And a lot of you thanked me for that, and I want to thank you for thanking me for creating those videos. And what I'd like to do at this time is I'm going to reinstate my twin flame readings, so my personal twin flame readings, as well as soulmate or love readings. So I will have those on the website. You'll be able to choose either the twin flame reading or the soulmate/love reading. And what that will be is a 30-minute reading, and we will look into the dynamics of your connection. We'll look into what the counterpart is feeling or thinking, and we're also going to pull some messages here from these beautiful decks written and created by the wonderful Divine Feminine Diane Garris over on Etsy. So this is what I've decided. You guys know that I haven't necessarily been called to do twin flame readings, but I'm being called to do them again right now. There's a shift that is happening that can't be ignored. I'm feeling it within myself, and I'm also feeling it within the collective. So I think this Lionsgate has really softened a lot of the divine feminines back into the connection, or back into their faith of the connection with the divine masculine. And I also want to remind you guys that if you're interested in a twin flame workbook for the journey, for healing, for understanding, for just, if you're just seeking out more guidance and again, that deeper understanding of what it is that you're going through, what is it that I've come across, what the hell is this connection? That is a workbook that will assist you. It's 26 pages long. It's for sale on my website. I have other readings as well, mainly astrological based, that are for sale. You can also opt in for a coaching session. And then last but definitely not least, the next program will begin in October. So I'm taking a little hiatus here, and then we'll relaunch in October 2022. And I will be relaying that information as we get closer to the launch date. And very excited. Looks like I'll be having some guests come in for that particular journey. So very excited to be introducing those guests and have them assisting with the group as well. So it's going to look different than these previous two groups. And there is a reason for that. There's a shift that's happening within me, as many of you have been witness to, and there's a shift that's happening within the collective and within many of you. And I think this is important, that the focus is primarily on the divine feminine. But there is a divine masculine coming back into the picture. What's interesting for me is the stronger I feel this connection with my soulmate get, the more I feel my counterpart pushing in, as if to say, excuse me, you're in my space. So right now it's a very kind of confusing, conflicting time if you're on this journey with a twin flame and then you have a soulmate coming in, whether you've met the soulmate in the physical or not, because some of you have soulmates who are celebrities, or in some way, shape, or form you haven't been able to meet in the physical yet. Doesn't mean you won't, by the way. If your soulmate or your twin flame is a celebrity, there's a very good chance you will meet them and you will connect in this lifetime, because of the nature of the journey, the nature of this awakening that's happening on Earth. So I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but I also want to instill or reinstill the hope and the activation. I mean, that the meeting of these souls, if it's a soulmate journey, the meeting of your two souls, how that will activate not only your dynamic and them and you, but also the whole world. These are such important activations. And, you know, when we go through these periods on the twin flame journey where we go through fear and doubt, or we're just fed up, it's very easy to feel disappointed. It's very easy to feel resentment towards your counterpart. It's very easy to feel angry. It's very easy to feel heartbroken. It's very easy to feel just defeated and like, what is this all for? What is the purpose or the meaning of all of this? And I think the divine feminine is finding her way back to that purpose and that mission. And the soulmates come in, guys. They're beautiful, beautiful catalysts for growth. In fact, you know, I've said to my close friends who are also on this journey that I would not be upset at all if I ended up with my soulmate, because he is a beautiful man and a beautiful, beautiful soul, a creative soul like myself. And so, you know, my counterpart and I are vastly different, as are you and your counterpart, because we are, you know, we are the same mold, but we're cut from the same cloth, but we're different facets of that cloth. And so we are in effect, in essence, opposites of each other. Whereas the soulmate and I have so many things in common, and it's like we see things from the same perspective. And can be just such a gelling with the soulmate, such an ease of the connection and the relationship. Not to say that, you know, you won't argue or things won't be difficult, but it's different than the counterpart. So I would be so happy and floored to end up with either of those two people. And I think this is, you know, where we need to go into this is like open-minded and keeping our hearts open, keeping our minds open, not attaching to the outcome, not attaching to one particular person, not attaching to how it's going to play out, not attaching to how you're going to meet your twin flame or soulmate. All right, if they have celebrity status, which, by the way, that's not them. Their celebrity is not them. That's, you know, that's something that is very much coming through at this time. You know, like they don't want to be identified as their celebrity, as their status. And these divine masculines who are celebrities, they very much are almost shying away from the limelight. So like if they're like an actor or musician or something, it's not to say they're going to stop acting or stop singing or recording or playing or touring. It's to say that you'll notice that they look different, they're acting different, they're going through a major transformation, and it's going to show. It's going to show on their faces. It's going to show maybe as they're aging. It's going to show, and you may notice you're aging along with them, or you feel like you are temporarily, and that's really frustrating. But you know, this is all to say that this is all happening for such a higher reason and a higher purpose. And I just want to make it very clear to you guys, you're going to be okay either way, whether you end up with your counterpart or you don't, whether you end up with your soulmate or you don't, whether you end up with another higher level soulmate. But there's a very good chance, I feel, of reconciliation in this lifetime. And there's a very good chance that you will, in fact, meet your soulmate or twin flame in the flesh in this lifetime. Now, the rest, will I end up with this person? Will we be together? Will we start a family? Will I marry them? I don't know. But I do feel like there is a working together. And it's very likely even that, guys, that you will have both your soulmate and your twin flame in your life. And that there could be some jealousy or some sort of like a vying for your attention, especially if you're the divine feminine. So these are all downloads that I've received this past week. And, you know, this is in thanks in large part to my soulmate and also to my counterpart. The soulmate's coming through more strongly at this time. The counterpart's starting to come back through. It's like he's awakened to the connection. You know, he's awakened to there's a possibility that there is somebody else here, you know, who wants her attention. So energetically, there's a tug of war going on. And I think a lot of you are probably feeling that. And so let's go ahead and pull some cards. I think that was a very important introduction to just kind of express. I've been gone for a few days. I was traveling, and every time we travel, even if it wasn't even that far, but we get the opportunity to see things from a different perspective. We meet people, we experience something new. And for me, this was my first experience with seeing this particular band live. And oh my God, I can't even put into words the emotional connection, the incredible vibe, the audience, the it was electrifying. I mean, everyone was singing and dancing and screaming and laughing and smiling and just having the time of their lives. And that does something. It was transcendent. That does something to a person. So I think that was an important part of my healing process. And, music, as I've said, music and water, two very important healing elements right now for the soul. So let's go ahead, guys, with this newfound fresh perspective that I have. I'm ready to deliver this reading. We are going to look at messages from the counterpart. This is something I haven't done for a while. And again, I will not offer, these types of readings until I feel called. And I do feel called at this time to begin offering twin flame readings. It will be for a limited time. I don't know how many I will actually do. I'll start with 10 twin flame readings that will be available. And then once it's sold out, that will be sold out for now. I might reopen them for another maybe 5 to 10, but we shall see. I want to offer these to people who are asking for them, are needing them at this time. I feel like they're really in need of this guidance. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I feel. As long as it energizes me and I don't feel like it depletes me like I was feeling before, I can keep offering them. So it's really going to depend on my energy levels. All right. Apologize for the long introduction. I'll try to put a timestamp if I can remember, guys, for those of you who don't want the introduction. Okay. They want me to take that. Two of Pentacles coming up again. That came up the last reading I did. I do recall that. And this is talking about choices. This is talking about balance. So yes, the soulmate, the twin flame. This is very well. But, expanding beyond that concept also just maybe choices between two jobs, choices between two houses, for the divine feminine or the divine masculine. But divine masculine is worked on his physical life a lot last year and in 2019 and 2020, and this year it's really the feminine working on her physical life, and it's more the masculine working on the spiritual aspect of the connection, the spiritual connection that he feels to the divine, the universe, to you, to himself. So this is more so, I feel, speaking to the twin flame, because the Pentacles is the 3D realm, and this is really talking about choices that you have to make and creating balance, because you may be juggling a lot of things right now. Again, I do feel like there's a vying for the feminine's attention. And you might say, well, I don't see this in my physical reality showing up at all. Open your eyes, look around you. You might be surprised. What else does the feminine need to know at this time as the door is opening back up to these connections? Ace of Swords. In this recent past here, this feels kind of like a recent past energy. You may have been quite biting with your tongue, with your words. You may have been a little icy or cold towards your counterpart. And I think what is coming up here is really, it's a little cloudy out, so I'm gonna actually turn the light on for you guys. Hopefully that will give you a little more of the ability to see the cards. But the Ace of Voices, the Ace of Swords. Are you speaking the truth? This is about the feminine becoming a truth teller. And then the masculine being surprised by this. Maybe not necessarily appreciating it at the time. Maybe not really wanting to hear the truth, right? So masculine going, I don't necessarily want to hear the truth. I don't necessarily want to hear what the feminine has to say at all, because it's going to force me, this is again recent past energy, it's going to force me to up level and upgrade myself. It's going to force me to face my fears and to do that shadow work that everyone's been talking about. Because he's heard the term by now. He's heard the term shadow work. He's heard about ego work and ego death, dark night of the soul. I think he's very much familiar with these terms at this point in the journey, at least for a lot of the divine masculines. And now it's like, I am ready. The feminine's like, I am ready. This is like a breath of fresh air, speaking the truth. Your voice being infused with authenticity. Aces always talk about a fresh start or a new beginning, walking on a new path, a new door opening, right? A window opening so you can breathe fresh air. That's the Aces. And it would be like the 0 point energy field, kind of like the Fool card in the Major Arcana. It's that 0 point energy field where anything is possible. There's a lot of truth that is coming through right now, and a lot of light that is shining through especially in regards to the divine feminine mind and how she thinks and how she's navigating her world right now. Things may seem very upside down, very sideways when you look outside, when you look out in the world events, the news. I don't think many of you watch the news anymore, but if you catch a glimpse of it or somebody else has it on, or it's on in a waiting room and you're trying not to listen, but it's there and it's on repeat and it's the same thing over and over again, indoctrinating you with whatever they want you to hear, then you're fighting back, with the truth. It's like this war in your mind of, I see how things are out there and it looks really shaky and it looks kind of scary and it looks very unpredictable and like a mystery. And then inside your mind, feeling this incredible expansion, feeling the light downloads coming in, feeling the clarity, feeling the sense of this time for me to start off on this new path. It's time for me to spread my truth and spread my story, and maybe not necessarily knowing how to reconcile the outside world with the inner world. So let's see, what else can you tell me about this Ace of Swords energy for the Divine Feminine? Page of Swords. So they want you to approach this new path and this new direction with a beginner's mind. The page is it's like the novice energy. Some call it immaturity, but it's not necessarily. They want you to approach the way that you look at love. There's definitely choices in love coming up for the Divine Feminine. There's choices because we have the Lovers, which can indicate choices. It's not necessarily just a love card. And the Two of Pentacles indicating choices and juggling and balance, like a balancing act. So there's definitely, they want you to approach this new journey, this new way that you're looking at the world, and in particular how you're looking at love relationships with a fresh set of eyes, with a new perspective. Don't be surprised if your voice changes at this time or other people's voices are changing. Don't be surprised if your throat chakra has gotten an upgrade. What's very fascinating to me is you can look at your soulmate or counterpart, depending on which one you have access to at this time, or communication, or you can see or kind of watch what they're doing or how they're speaking. Both of my soulmate and I had undergone massive throat chakra upgrades, and it was just so evident in listening to him speak and realizing I was having the same sorts of upgrades at the same time. And potentially my counterpart as well. I'm not sure. I haven't heard him speak in a while, but I do think that, the voice is changing, and this is the mind as well. The Page of Swords is the mind. So the way in which you're looking at or approaching a situation is also shifting and changing. The way in which you're looking at love and relationships is shifting. I feel like this is also a reflection of the inner union that's transpired within you, which is also going to correspond to the connection between you and the counterpart, because it really is between you and you. So that inner union creates the bridge or the pathway to outer union, allowing the feminine and the masculine to merge in the physical reality. Let's just get since this is a twin flame reading, that's way too many cards, but I'd like to get a read on the Divine Masculine. A read on the Divine Masculine. Three of Wands. They're wanting to... Interesting. So they are making progress. I always get a sense in this particular deck of the chips falling where they may with the Three of Wands, just the way it's laid out with the dominoes, the domino effect. But they are waiting for, not perfection, but they're waiting for their hard work to pay off. They're waiting for those ships to come in. They are very clear in what they want, which I really like seeing. Like, I'm clear in what I want. I know what I want. Now I'm just waiting. In another deck, it's portrayed as literally waiting for your ships to come in. So waiting for their efforts and work and ideas and mentality to pay off. In other words, it's like trusting that something good is happening. They're trusting that okay, maybe I'm, not in communication with my counterpart, with my divine feminine at this time, but I trust that it's happening. I trust that it's coming. I trust that I'm getting the courage, to be able to talk to her. The pieces are falling into place here. So this is a good sign for the masculines, because I do feel like this is a signal that they have matured. And I said this in a recent reading, and I think it's important that we understand that. Even if you're at the place where you're completely turned off right now to the divine masculine, it's like, okay, just knowing that they're in a place where there's some maturity, some spiritual and mental maturity and emotional maturity happening is a very good thing. And it's a positive mentality, it looks like, that they have right now. So the Lionsgate brought in, washed them over like a wave of positivity. The Sun card coming in, their hopes, dreams, and desires, the ability for them to believe that good things can happen to them. Because for a long time, they believed the opposite. They didn't think they were worthy. So I do think they've worked on their self-worth and receiving and giving. And I do think they understand now that, hey, I'm worthy of everything that I have ever wanted and asked for. Like, I feel like in the past they may have tried to manifest, but they would doubt their abilities or their powers or their manifestation skills. So they may have said, I want reconciliation with my divine feminine, or I want to be back in her arms, and then just doubted it, and just self-doubt plagued them so much that their manifestations couldn't arrive, because then what they would do in that self-doubt is go back to the addiction, go back to the karmic energy, go back to an old relationship, and fall back into old patterns and themes, and that prevented the feminine from being able to come in. Sorry about that, guys. I guess I had a low battery warning. So my phone hasn't been holding a charge recently, so I'm going to be forced to get a new phone here, which is exciting because I'll have a better camera, because primarily I use my phone for the videos, but also it doesn't hold a charge very well. So hopefully I'll be able to do that next week. But yeah, I do feel like, they doubted themselves. So then the manifestation didn't appear. And then it was kind of like, oh, well then, it's not going to happen anyway. And it was sort of like this cyclical effect of not believing in themselves created the thing that they didn't want. And then it just perpetuated their perceived inability to make things happen, or that good things don't happen to me. So they were kind of stuck in this dark mental space for a while. They were stuck battling their thoughts. They were stuck battling their desires. They were stuck battling those lower level desires and energies. And that's what led them to go back to karmic energies, because those karmic contracts, those karmic relationships are based in the lower chakras. They connect at the lower chakras. And these higher level connections were connected at the upper chakras. It doesn't mean you don't have or can't have great sex with your counterpart, or that there's no passion. That's not what it means. It means that primarily your connection exists at a higher level. It's a spiritual connection first, then it can become a physical connection. These karmic connections are physical connections only and purely. There is no spiritual connection. There's just karma. It's not the same thing. It's karma. Karma is not the same thing as having a connection. Or karma is literally just karma. That relationship exists so that you can dissolve the karma and work through it and learn the lessons, and not have to work through that karma again in this lifetime or in any lifetime. But with you, it's a contract that can't be severed. It's a feeling that they can't ignore. And trust me, you've probably seen your counterpart with somebody else. You've heard of them with somebody else. Hell, they may have even told you they were with somebody else. And they were looking for a reaction. Is she going to fight for me? And instead, what the feminine did was walked away and said, nope, this is not the game I chose to play in this lifetime. I've done this enough. Maybe you've done it in the past with past relationships, and you said, I'm not doing this again. And so the masculine was baffled, and he thought, well, the only thing I can do now is commit to this decision I've made to be with this other person, to show her. I'll show her and she'll come around. And then time went on, time passed, and then you didn't go fighting or chasing after them. And that's when they realized, oh, she's not playing my game. And that's when they realized, I'm actually miserable in this situation. I don't want to be in this situation. That's when they really had to own up to their truth. And that's what they've been doing. Let's get some messages now from the counterparts. I do think that this Sun card, that is definitely connected to Lionsgate, because the Leo energy is connected to the Sun. Sun is the ruler of Leo. So 5th house energy, I definitely think that this is an indication that not only does the masculine now expect good things to happen to them, but they're preparing for your return. They're preparing for reconciliation. They're preparing to be the person that you always knew that they could be, that you might have said, I know that you have this potential and I know it can be you. And they said, nope, you need to look elsewhere. You're barking up the wrong tree. And the feminine said, that's bullshit. I know you're capable of being this person. They didn't believe in themselves, so therefore they couldn't give you what you wanted, because if a person doesn't believe that they're good enough, then they're going to constantly and consistently choose something that is beneath them or lower than them. And that's what these karmic relationships are. They're worthy of more, but until they believe it, they can't we accept the love we think we deserve. So they've accepted the love they thought they deserved, and now they're breaking free of that. This is definitely the sun shining down on the masculines, infusing them with positivity and hope and renewal energy. So the divine masculine says to the feminine, I do want to return to you. Yeah, and we feel this, waiting for the right time, waiting for divine inspiration, divine timing. I was in denial. Yeah, we just talked about that. I was in denial of the truth. I was in denial of my feelings. I was in denial of the fact that I was sabotaging. They were sabotaging. It was self-sabotage. I'm going to put this in past tense. I felt trapped and stuck in my situation, because with the Sun card and the 3 of Wands, this is past energy. I felt trapped and stuck in my situation. I'm working on myself diligently, might I add. I can hear you even in the silence. So if you think your counterpart can't hear you, think again. They 100% can hear you in the silence, and I've confirmed this. I wish I knew what video I talked about that on, because I don't really want to go through the whole thing again. But basically, I'll share, for those of you that haven't heard the story, that my counterpart and I had been in separation for about 1.5 years, and he came back and we saw each other in the physical. Actually, he called and then video chatted and then flew in to see me the same day. That's how quickly these things can happen. And he says to me that night, you want to marry me, don't you? We had never talked about that in the physical. So this was a knowing. And I asked him, I said, where is this coming from? Why do you think that? He said, but you do. I've heard you. I've heard you in my head. They hear you. They hear you in the silence, guys. You are them and they are you. There is no separation. Can't get away from it. Sorry to tell you, you can't escape this journey. I regret what I said to you. Okay, this is specifically, if your counterpart denied the connection, I was in denial. If they denied the connection, they want you to know, I'm sorry. I regret what I said to you. I didn't mean it. It wasn't true. I said it in the heat of the moment. I was trying to protect myself. I was trying to protect you. And ultimately what it did is it brought us both pain and disappointment and heartache. So they regret it. I regret the way we left things. So if you left things and if they were dismissive or they were in denial, or if you left things and they were on negative terms, they're saying they regret the way they left things with you. So in other words, a lot of honesty coming through here, letting you know that they understand the impact that their actions and words had. This isn't just, I regret what I said to you and I regret the way we left things. So this is actions and words. Owning up to both actions and words is pretty major. Pretty major stuff. So let's look at the divine masculine here. Let's look at what they're working on their journey right now. So fear blocks love. I was afraid to show my true emotions to you or even admit them to myself. Yes, I was in denial. So they had a closed heart chakra. They were not able to show you how they truly felt because their heart chakra was not open. The masculine energy historically is taught to don't be a baby, don't be a wussy, hold back your tears, don't cry, don't show emotion, don't be emotional. That's feminine, that's girly. We don't do that. Boys don't cry. All of this bullshit that society indoctrinates the masculine energy with. And then they hold it in, and that's why the masculines have heart attacks. That's why they get sick. That's why they get cancer, because they're not expressing themselves in the way. They're not allowed to express themselves at work. They have to be strong. They have to be the fearless leader. The true divine masculine energy knows how to handle emotions, show emotions, and also how to hold space for someone else's emotions. So This is very childlike energy. This is an inner child wound where they feel like I can't tune into my emotions. So they're shamed for showing their emotions. So then shame forms around sadness or around heartache. And so then they don't share it. And this is letting, the masculines are working on the inner child healing that allows them to open their heart and reminds them that they are alive, they are human, they have emotions, they're not a child, and that it's safe for them to feel. It's safe for them to open their hearts again. So they're working on that. And also abandonment issues. I'm aware that I pushed you away emotionally before you could abandon me. That's why they're working on themselves. And yeah, they felt trapped and stuck for many reasons, but one of the reasons is because they felt like you were going to abandon them. In other words, they might have said to themselves, everything's perfect the way it is. I don't want to ruin things by putting a label on this. I don't want to ruin things by making this something more than it is. I don't want to ruin things by proposing to you or committing to you and then having you being able, I don't want to give you that ability to abandon me. So then therefore they abandoned the connection first. They abandoned even if you were the one that physically walked away, they would have been the one to do something to cause you to walk away, typically, right? Cause you to stand up for yourself, cause you to choose yourself. So they're learning to be aware of their actions and being accountable for their actions, healing from those deep core abandonment wounds. Typically, the divine feminine works on codependency initially in the journey, and the divine masculine works on abandonment. Both twins have the sacred wound of not being good enough. All people have that, actually. It's the most common wound of humanity. I'm not good enough. So as the feminine has worked on codependency, the masculine is now working on this fear of abandonment so that they can come forward and not fear your response or reaction, even if it's not something they like, even if you do quote unquote abandon them, that they have to know they're going to be okay. And then they'll try again. Respect and self-respect. Many times it seems that others, including the DM, feel as if they can manipulate and disrespect me. I do not know why this is. Now this is the wounds or the healing that the feminine is working on. The twin flame journey is designed to trigger deep wounds so that they can come to the surface for healing. The divine feminine stands firmly yet kindly in her power without apology for doing so. There's no weakness here. There's no strength of character. There is strength of character. There is courage. As difficult as she may find it on some levels, she doesn't allow people to dishonor her. There's no codependence. Abuse in any form is not tolerated. She calls people on their stuff. She respects herself, honors herself, and commands respects from others and in all interactions. So this is what the feminine has been working on. While the masculine has been working on abandonment, the feminine has been working on healing codependency and not allowing the counterpart to disrespect her. Not allowing him to treat her as he wishes. Especially when he was unhealed. Or she. DM can be she or he. Longing. There are times when the longing for my twin flame seems unbearable. So the longing could be coming back up to the surface for some of the divine feminines. So honor the mirror. Honor what this is bringing up. Honor the memory of this connection. Honor the history of this connection that goes back to Atlantean times, Lemurian times, that primal separation, cutting of the cord or attempt to cut the cord that happened back then during the Atlantis and Lemurian times, where the masculine was separated from the feminine. We have been attempting to heal that core wound and that core separation ever since. So remembering that you're not separate from your twin, that they don't complete you, they don't make you whole, that you make yourself whole. There's nothing outside of you that can make you feel whole or make you feel happiness or make you feel joy. You create that and radiate that from within and radiate it outside of yourself. So there is no separation. That is an illusion. It's an illusion of the 3D world. Allow your person their space to do their work, and you focus on yours. This too shall pass. Every separation is temporary on the twin flame journey. Even death is temporary. There will always be a reunion, a reuniting of the soul, a reuniting of that flame, the spark that cannot go out. It is eternal. People have asked me, one of the most common questions is, can I lose my twin soul? Like, can my twin flame forget about me? Can I sever that connection for good? You know, is a separation going to last forever? And the answer is always no. Now, what form the reunion takes, I'm not sure. It depends. It could be physical, it could be spiritual, it could be in the next lifetime, it could be between lifetimes. But your connection is eternal, so that should give you some peace of mind, especially if you are out there going through a physical separation and that longing has kicked in again for you. You guys are healing some big stuff right now, both you and your counterpart. So respect that, respect their journey, respect the space that needs to occur. Take good care of yourselves, guys, and I hope this has sparked some healing and given you some clarity, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It greatly, greatly helps the channel, and it helps YouTube do that algorithm thingy so that people who need my video and content or want to watch it are able to find it much easier. Thanks, guys. Take care.